Hello and welcome back. In this lesson, we'll get started with our basic learning of Python using Jupyter Notebook. Here's the Anaconda Navigator, which we have installed, and now I'll go to the Jupyter Notebook. I'll launch it from here, as you can see, and I'll go to the Jupyter Notebook and run some very basic Python scripts from there. To give you a basic understanding of how to use Jupyter Notebook for data analysis. And then as we proceed, we'll get to know more about the Python programming. I'll not go into very details of the Python programming, but you'll get some idea. And this course will mainly focus on an introduction to machine learning. So here, if I click on new, I'll just click on Python 2, and here I can see in my browser I'll be opening the Jupyter Notebook. So in this line I can just type any command and or any statement, and I can execute that. Also in this lesson we'll talk about the difference between the logic programming and the machine learning programming. And we'll also see what is the how we use to build logic programs and how machine learning models are very different from that. So let's get started with logic programming first. So let's say we have a series which is an input. So the input was a series with let's say 10 values: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there's an output which is just 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So what is the way in which, if we give this input to the program, we'll get this particular output? So we can say that the program is basically doing is it is taking the value of x as x and adding 2 to it. So basically, if we write a function and we define that function, we pass the parameter x, and then y we can calculate as x plus 2, and then we just return y. Then this function will give us this desired result of basically this output of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is how we can convert these values into these values using a function. This is basically the logic programming. We can understand the logic, and accordingly we just write a function and take an input and give an output. But machine learning is different than that. So in case of machine learning, let's say we have stock prices of a particular stock. So it can be like this: 100, 101, or let's say 101, 103, 105, 107, and the next day it started decreasing of 102, 105, 103, 101, and then again it increases, and then again it increases very rapidly, and then it falls again. So this is a series, and let's say we just know the days of week. So let's say it's 1, 2, the dates are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7 the stock market is closed, and then again 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 15. So how many values we have? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So here are the days of the month, and here is the stock price. So we cannot build a direct relationship from these dates and between these dates and these output values. So we need something more than just writing a function which can logically determine how these dates are related to these prices. So basically what our program will do is it will understand some kind of relationship mathematically, and it will use that relationship to predict the values for, let's say, the dates of, if we continue this trend, then the next dates will be, let's say, 17, 18, and somehow we have to make a prediction on what will be the values of these series on those dates. It can be 103 or 101 from our determination. So there is no specific answer to that. If we use different models, it will give us different answers. So whichever is the best answer, we can determine it. There are certain methods by which we can assess whether how close our prediction is to the actual value, and then we use that model to use this prediction. So in our case, what I'll just give you a basic idea of what we actually do in order to determine that. So for example, our machine will learn from a certain data set. So let's say our machine will learn from a data set where we feed all these values like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. These many values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 values to the data 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So here is what we feed to the machine. This is called training data set. So our machine gets trained on this data, and then let's say our model says that according to this trend, the values on 15 and 16 will be 109 and 103. So that is one model. Let's say that is model 1. We build another model which says that the values will be 110 and 102. So that is model 2. So now if we compare the actual values, so we know in this case, since we have the data for a few more days, we actually know that the data actual values for those 2 days, that is 15 and 16, are 110 and 105. So now we'll compare this 110 with 109, 105 with 103, and see how much accurate the model 1 is. And similarly, we'll compare these two values with 110 and 102, and we'll also see how accurate this model 2 is. And once we get that result, we can determine that, okay, this model is better than the second model. The first model is better, or the second model is better. So based on our assessment, we decide which model is better, and then we use that model to predict the values for days 17, 18, or whichever, however much in future we want to go. So that is basically the predictive modeling, and that is how it is different from the traditional logic model that we know. So thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next lesson.